Today's video is going to be based on my dad's Jeep that's been in the family for quite a few years. It's running and driving, but there's a few things that we want to make sure that before we put it on the road, we want to make sure everything's right. And Paul will be here to give you a little bit more detailed history on it. But I just want to introduce to you what we are going to videotape today. Thank you. All right, Paul, you want to come around and kind of explain a little bit of the history of this Jeep?
Sure. I know a little bit about it.
Yeah.
A little bit. My dad's Jeep, as you said earlier. And first of all, it looks like a 67. It's got a 67 body on it, but everything under the body is 1946 Willys. It's got a F-head motor. That means a valve in the head and a valve in the block. It's got a very long stroke for a four-cylinder. Basically idle up a mountain in a low lock without touching the gas. It'll climb just about any grade. That's the F-head motor. The motor was rebuilt. My dad had the motor rebuilt a few years after he got the Jeep. We were having oil pressure problems with it. So he sent it out and had the whole motor rebuilt. I think it was like $2,500 back in the 80s. So anyways, the guy that originally built this Jeep for my dad, his name was Mike Osmolowski. Good friend of my dad's. His nickname was my dad's bodyguard. Big, tough, Polish guy. Anyways, it runs fantastic. It sat up north since 1985. Actually, we drove it up there probably around 83. And it's been up in West Branch since about 2006, 9, I don't know, whenever he brought this thing down here. So my mom said, Paul, you make sure your brother Dave gets this Jeep. It's one of the last things she told me to make sure of, and no problem. It's very solid. Like I said, it's a 46 Willys. Come on, take a look in here. I'll go on to the other door and explain some of the shifters. Like I said, everything's 46 Willys. And then you got your 3-speed, your gear selector. You got your 2- and 4-wheel drive shifter. And here, the small one here is for low and high range, okay? Then there's another shifter right back here between the seats, which is a nice little option here. In the back of the Jeep, which I'll take you back there in a second, it's got a PTO. So if you were in the old days, the farmers and everybody bought an Army Jeep because they could work on the farm with them. If they had a conveyor to haul straw or whatever up to the rafters or the loft of the barn, they would hook it up on here. My dad and I, he bought a sickle, and we used to cut the road next to the house, next to the pond. I'd be sitting in the back of this, and our dad would be driving, and we would do the road and around the pond. That was many years ago. I was very young at that time. Since then, the trees have gotten bigger, the pond's gotten a little overgrown, but back here, let me show you this PTO. It's really a nice option. Okay, that little shifter lever that's between the seats, that controls this PTO here. It engages it or disengages it. And when you have the selector of the gear shifter selector in any forward gear, it'll turn one way, and when you put it in reverse, it'll actually spin the other way. Very rare piece, I would have to say, to find on a Jeep. I'm sure many Jeeps have them, the older military Jeeps, but that's a heck of an option there. There's a extra drive shaft that goes to the transfer case that powers this. We used it all the time, very helpful. And if you have a trailer with a generator on it, you could they have attachments to hook the generator to this PTO. So you just, put it in a gear, in a forward gear, but you disengage the transfer case so it doesn't, the bigger transfer case, so the vehicle won't move, but the smaller output shaft on the transfer case will still spin this. so you can run a generator. A lot of you can do a lot of stuff with this thing. Okay.
Yeah, you can get a lot of accessories that run off of that PTO.
Yeah, that's the word. Yep. That's very good. Yeah, it's this thing's been around a long time. It's very solid. I mean, I used to have a military radio bolted back here when I was younger and drive around and pretend I was my brother in Vietnam, but that was a long time ago. Yeah, it's a nice Jeep. The top comes off, and I'm sure maybe in the next couple videos of the Jeep you'll see it with the top off. It's a really cool looking Jeep. It looks a little like a mail truck delivering the mail with this top on it, but it's a good top. There's about 16 bolts that hold it on to the Jeep, and the front windshield pulls down. It also still has the vacuum powered wiper blades.
Roll bar.
It's a beauty. I drove it like 3 days, twice a year. Okay, when I'd go up north after Dad went up there, and I would go up there, get it running, drive it to town and back, park it. We didn't go very far in it, but I always made sure, kept it going.
Yeah, very few miles on that rebuilt motor.
Oh, very few, maybe 100. Okay, Dad wasn't around long enough to use it. Anyways, since my brother's got the Jeep, he's put new tires on it. He's put these handy step rails on here, and they're solid. Hey, you can jump up and down on those; they don't move. So, all in all, it's a heck of a Jeep. You know, it's like I said, when the top comes off, it really changes the appearance of this thing immensely. It's a lot of fun, and I plan on having a lot of fun with my brother cruising around on it, going to all the Jeep. What do you call it? There, club meetings.
Gatherings, sure.
Yeah, gatherings. Up to Eddie's, and it'll be fun in the summer. It really is, until it rains. Then you got to get it in and get the top back on.
All right, let's take a second and start it up. They can hear it run, and
Sure.
then we'll go from there.
Okay. Okay, let me jump in this thing, or crawl in this thing and start it. The way it sounds is the way it's always sounded. It cranks over real easy, starts up real easy when you get in it, and start her up. Here we go.
All right. That was successful.
Okay, so, yeah. I know, I'm sure many people out there are saying, oh, that's the wrong air cleaner. That's my air cleaner's not right. Well, you're right, guys. It's not right. It's off of a V6. It's off of a V6, like a Mustang. Originally came out with a V6 motor out of a Mustang, but it worked. Okay, apparently we never had an air cleaner for it. I've been looking around trying to find the right one. But if you look at the motor, you see how deep the block is. It's got a very long block before it gets to the cylinder head. It's got a long screw for a 4-cylinder. And this thing has run just like this for years and years. Really a great little Jeep. Will do anything you want it to do, and then more. One other thing I wanted to mention was the hubs on this, for you guys that know your Jeeps real well. These hubs aren't the correct hubs in the front. Mr. Osmolowski, they came up with a Cherokee, a very early Cherokee, like maybe a 65 or 64 Cherokee Wagoneer. And right here, it's got separate levers. You pull these out, and you can turn them. And then that locks the four-wheel drive in. Or if you're just cruising around, it's summertime, you don't need four-wheel drive, you spin these, and you put them back in. There's two on each hub. And those really lock the front tires in. There's no give, no such thing as a limited switch. It's more of a unlimited grip instead of a limited slip. Okay, those are some really good hubs. I'm sure those would be probably hard to find these days also.
Well, that kind of concludes what we did today, part one, kind of getting you familiar with the Jeep. We ordered some parts we think we're going to need, and hopefully they're here in a few days. And we have other projects ongoing, so we'll get back to this as soon as possible. And thanks for watching, and appreciate all the views and all the comments, and thank everybody. And Zappa's Garage, and see you soon.